Welcome to the Cosmic Busker. My name is Bobby Cody. Is the moon artificial? There have been researchers and scholars who have speculated that the moon is artificial. What I'm going to present to you today is something that I've never seen ever addressed. Uh, it's my own observation, and I'm looking for input on this. If people have alternate explanations for this, to me, this was always the crowning jewel regarding the evidence that the moon is artificial. I've never seen anybody point it out or speak to it, and in all the decades, I've never heard a natural explanation for it. I don't think that there is a natural explanation for it. So I'm going to show it to you in a moment. But first, I just want to talk about other evidence that the moon is artificial. NASA found a couple times, actually, once with Apollo and I think another time when they sent down a crash on the moon to essentially crash into the moon and see what happened with the sound. They did this twice, once with Apollo and once later on. Essentially, and what they found was that the moon rings like a bell. So now, why would the moon ring like a bell? Some speculate that it's actually a ship, similar like the Death Star, and that's hollow inside. So when you hit it, it rings like a bell because it's hollow. Other researchers, Richard Hoagland is one, have speculated that it's because there's a structure on the outside of the moon. We can't see it because it's made out of glass. Glass in an environment like the moon with no moisture would be like steel. It'd be as solid as steel, and so it would be a great, because the moon also is made of silicates. Glass would be a great building material on the moon because of the strength of the strongest steel, and the whole moon is made of mostly silicates, so you can make glass out of it, and so it's the prime building material on the moon. And because of that, they speculate that there's a structure, and I'm going to show a picture right there. It's a NASA photo that alleges, so you can see all that white. That's essentially what's left of the glass structure. It's speculated by Hoagland. But regarding the gong, they say, oh, well, the reason that the moon rang like a bell isn't because it's hollow. Hoagland speculates it's because of this glass structure and acts as kind of like a tuning fork. When you hit the moon, the sound resonates from the glass, and that's why it rings like a bell. My own personal opinion, it's probably both. It's probably the fact that the moon is hollow and that you have these glass structures on the outside of the moon that causes it to ring like a bell. It's not just one or the other, it's both, is what I suspect. But here I want to present some of the evidence that I have observed, I've never seen speculated on or pointed out before. It's my own observation. I'm going to put a picture right here of an orange right now. Do you see that orange, how it's segmented? And you can see all these segments start at the north pole of the orange, you go down the south pole, and it's just, the orange is segmented. That's why, when you peel the orange, you eat little segments. The moon is like that too. I've noticed this for decades. I've never seen an explanation for it. I'm going to put a picture of the moon right there. If you look closely, you'll see radiating from the south pole there, the bottom, these lines. They're not always bold, they're very faint, some of them, but you can definitely see them. What I'm going to do now is I don't have the proper equipment. I don't have a computer and I don't have Photoshop, so I can't draw straight lines. But I'm going to just put up there a photo right now that with my finger, I just drew the lines. They're not very straight, but at least you can see what I'm talking about there more clearly. Now I'll go back to the old photo again without the lines, and then with the lines again. Do you see that? What I'm referring to? The moon is created in segments. I think that's artificial, and I think that's the most obvious evidence that it is, and it's just observational. Look at a photo, pretty much any photo of the moon, you can see all those lines radiating out of the South Pole. The moon was artificial. It was created. It was created in these segments. What I'm going to do, it's the last 30, 40 seconds of this video, I'm going to alternate between my drawn lines on the moon and the moon itself, so you can go back and forth and see what I'm talking about and verify that those lines are really there. And you can do your own research and find various pictures of the moon. You'll see them pretty regularly. They're there, almost certainly. So like, share, subscribe, and comment, because I want to hear other potential explanations for these lines on the moon. To me, they're pretty obviously artificial, and it's evidence that the moon is artificial. I've also done past videos about the moon and the placement of the moon and where the moon is, and that also suggests that it's artificial. I'll search for that, and I'll put a card up there right now so you can click on that. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, again, like, share, subscribe, comment, and here's that back and forth of the moon so you can see exactly what I'm talking about in a full screen view.